Hello everyone and welcome. In my last video, I took apart this 90s Decathlon Rock Rider and made it look like this. In this video, we're going to be putting the bike back together, but before we do that, let's talk parts. Here we have parts that are going back on the bike. I spent about an hour soaking and scrubbing these parts and they all cleaned up really well except for some corrosion that had built up on the steer tube, which I had to sand off. You might also notice that there are 2 chain rings missing from the first video, and that's because I'm converting this bike to a 1x setup. Now for the upgrades. On the left we have a specialized saddle and a non-bent water bottle cage I took out of my spare parts bin. Next we have a used front brake lever that I picked up at a bike shop, a 7-inch stem riser, a used wheel that I picked up at a bike shop, and some brake cable. I want to address the stem riser really quick. Normally I wouldn't recommend buying a bike that's very far from your recommended frame size, but in this case I had to choose between frame size or tire clearance. I could have waited longer and maybe the right thing would have popped up, but honestly I'm glad I made the decision I did. It was a learning experience. I didn't know about stem risers prior to this, and I would like to make a video where I specifically talk about the advantages and disadvantages of them more in-depthly. And these are the sad parts that I'm not putting back on the bike. Anyways, let's put this thing together. At the end of the build, this is what I had on my stand. Things went well for the most part, however I had two problems and I only had a solution for one of them. The first problem was that I couldn't get the front derailleur to lock out, so instead I took a piece of old cable and pulled it taut enough to get the derailleur in the place I wanted it to be, and then just tightened the clamp down. My second problem should have been more obvious, but I didn't think about it. The stem riser made all of my cable housings unusable since they would just pull out of their housings when I tried to turn the bar. So I had to go and get new cable housings. So this is the actual final product. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Up next, the bike gets its final and most important upgrade, so stay tuned and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw.